The significance of God's existence can be described and wrapped up in the idea of meaning and purpose. Meaning is ultimate significance. Without God, life lacks this ultimate significance. If man ends in nothing, then he is nothing. Purpose has more to do with a reason for or a goal. Without God, life is without a goal or a purpose. Man is simply a miscarriage of nature thrust into a purposeless universe to live a purposeless life. Nihilism and existentialism focus on this idea of a lack of meaning. Life is meaningless without ultimate purpose, and existentialism is a belief stemmed from nihilism, stating that philosophical thinking is centered upon individual existence in the face of a meaningless universe. There's a great emphasis on just the existence of life itself. Life is meaningless without God. If there is no God, then it began with no purpose. It is undirected and caused by chance. It is antithetical to purpose. It was conceived without any sort of idea of an ultimate goal. If this is true, then life will end with no purpose. And the second law of thermodynamics says that the amount of usable energy is running down. We live in a dying universe. One day it will end. Therefore, survival is a hopeless endeavor, since essentially all life will be the blink of an eye in a vast universe and vast existence. Since life begins and will end with no purpose, it doesn't make any sense to say that there's purpose in between. Ecclesiastes wrestles with the idea of this existence without God, or life under the sun. It says, everything is meaningless, completely meaningless. What do people get for all their hard work under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets, then hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then turns north. Around and around it goes, blowing in circles. Rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. Then the water returns again to the rivers and flows out again to the sea. Everything is wearisome beyond description. So as you can see, life without a God is just completely purposeless, meaningless, running around with no goal. Life is given meaning by God's existence. If God does not exist, then life is objectively meaningless. If life is objectively meaningless, then for an individual to create meaning is completely senseless. It is incongruous and inconsistent. One cannot live both happily and consistently by creating meaning for the universe, since in the end only death awaits us. Therefore, after life, death must exist to give ultimate purpose to existence. So one can live a life without God creating his own meaning, but ultimately that does not matter, since it is only subjective. It only applies to the individual. And when he dies, nothing ever changes. Nothing is different. There is no change of meaning for the universe simply because someone added meaning. So he needs a goal to work towards after death, immortality. Christianity answers these two items with the idea of God and life after death. Pascal's wager says that there's a finite amount of loss to wager against an infinite amount of gain. Simply by weighing the evidence for and against God, one should choose to believe in God's existence. If God does exist and an individual does believe in him, then he lives a happy and consistent life with purpose and with meaning and with a goal to work towards after death. And if one chooses to believe that God exists and he does not, he hasn't really lost anything, since the universe is just dying anyway. The only thing he's really lost is his autonomy and his unaccountability. There is nothing at all to lose but eternity to gain.